So, guys, did you hear that George R. R. Martin killed off the Ultimate Warrior in the latest episode of Star Wars?
What?
Oh, shit. I forgot to change this password.
Coming up on Linux GameCast Weekly, Wastelands waste, Nvidia clocks, and Spates got up. Well, we're not really sure. All this, plus your hate mail. Let's go. Welcome back to another Linux GameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, engines cry, Wastelands beta, Nvidia clocks, and Spates go to Spates. Had a better joke for that, but it's too difficult to explain because you might be too young. Every week I'm Vince Stone in Athens, switching the boards, flipping the bits, and joining us, the hidden Hydra agent, all along, Massive Svang from Canada.
Yeah, no, the Nazis have completely taken over Canada. It's been like that since the 30s.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
And that beautiful voice right there, party people, is Pedro Mateus. All the way from Portugal. Unaccounted for, the giggling death, etc., etc. And before we get started, we always like to play a little game of what's been going on in your week of distortion. J-Man, anything fun? I heard there was a little SSS snafu.
Oh, yeah, no, this heartbleed bug is causing my heart to break. It's really not, but it's fun to field dozens of calls from concerned customers. Are you affected? Are you affected? You effective? No! Fuck off!
The genius that is customer service.
Not even customer
I'm
service.
just glad I kept my passwords all saved up in KeysPass. So all I had to do was change the master password and everything regenerate all new passwords. That's that.
Okay.
And over here, quick, short, and simple, we keep the Ubuntu minimum 1204 test box, which is like the baseline that Steam still uses because fuck us. I finally just wanted to rip out all the PPA crap and start building the Nvidia betas when they come out instead of waiting for Xorg edges, which take 24 hours. That's ridiculous. I don't know.
Who are these people?
I'm thinking, all right, on the Fedora, I got a little Fedora Steam box. I updated the beta drivers. Took maybe 3 minutes. I booted into run level. Boom. chmod. Start, run, boom, boom. Reboot. Bob's your uncle. And boom to it, I was like, so what's the right way to do this? And it's like a fucking page of fuck you. And I was like, why have you...
Yep.
No! Fortunately, I found a script that was basically, it was like, I'm going to rip all this crap out for you and put you back on the Nuevo drivers. Then you can just say, fuck the RPM business, apt business.
Deb.
Right, Deb.
Deb.
And did that. We got it up and running. So that's that. J-Man, why don't we pay some bills?
All right. Well, you can help us pay our bills by checking out LinuxGameCast.com. It's beautiful. Look at it. Click on that forms button. It's so sexy. You can find our chat realm statically linked where we are the other 6 days of the week. You can join with any, I don't know, something account. I don't know what you guys use, but it'll work here. And
Twitter,
of course, for more
Google,
Linux gaming
Facebook.
debauchery. Oh, was this a Patreon?
No.
This is our
just saying.
YouTube page. That we're on, yeah.
YouTube.com/LinuxGameCast. Check that out. Rate, comment, subscribe. Got all our videos up there. Players, how-tos, B-reels, and this train wreck. And, of course, speaking of train wrecks, we have our Facebook page. Look at that. It's Cocaine Voltron. It's beautiful. Together with Facebook at last. And ruining Oculus as we speak. But of course, for more Linux gaming distortion, check out reddit.com/r/Linux_gaming, which has been merged with Linux gaming. So now you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you should definitely check out our podcast page, linuxgamecast.com/podcast. Check out our RSS feeds and our Donato buttons. For throwing wet, stinky cash at our faces. A recurring donation of any denomination will get you a producer's credit. You show up, you can show your friends, show your family, impress that girl you have a crush on, and have her mace you. It's all good. And of course,
Wait,
a single donation.
we got somebody this week, man. I wanna
We
thank,
do.
Ryan J for being fiscally irresponsible and giving us 30 wet, stinky caches.
Woohoo!
Good on you, sir. Down a fire.
That in a fire. And of course, one-time donations get you membership into the elite Linux PC Gaming Master Race.
Yep.
So click on those buttons and give us all your money. But if you want to host your websites on the internets...
Well, let me ask you a question, Jay, man. I mean, would you want to have your website hosted by someone's company who their CEO likes to shoot elephants? And yes is not the correct...
Absolutely.
No. The correct answer, Jordan, is no. And guess what?
What?
HostGator Schnappy would not. He might eat an elephant, but he would never shoot one. And that brings us to HostGator.
And that's his problem.
They eat on the competition. LGC cares, ladies and gentlemen. Unlimited web hosting made easy and affordable, unlimited disk space, bandwidth, easy control panel, and they're not shitting you on that. It's stupid easy. $100 Google AdWords offer, 99.999% uptime. But check this offer out, man. That's like 20% off, man, starting at $396 a month. And you know what I got to say to that, Jay, man? You just know.
No, you should charge them more.
$9 less.
Insanity.
No, enter our code at checkout, LGC Week, FTW, Seizure-tastic code of Seizureness, and you're going to save a full 25% off. Boom! In your face, Oregon. Let me tell you how great these guys are. I run several little sites on there, and every now and then one of the older ones gets up on the Reddits, and it causes a bit of traffic. And they were monitoring my CPU usage on one of my shared hosting sites, which has like 3 little sites on it. And it was like, sup, bro? I noticed that this thing was spiking, so we went ahead and really cached it for you so you don't have to worry about it to make sure you didn't hit your little cap. And I was like, sweet, man. Didn't have to do anything on my part. And if you got tech support issues with them, call them up 3 o'clock in the morning, drunk dialing, and it's like, sup, baby? And they'll be like, sup, player? What you need? And they will give you the business right then, live human being. So that is that. What do we got for horses this week, man?
Oh, we have Dewitched horses.
Dewitched horses.
And Dewitched crying horses. It's our Steam
Yes!
update.
You know who didn't say nay to getting their engine over to the Linuxes, or at least is making some progress?
The Call of Duty
Progress.
CryEngine. You know, we got all fancied up, you know, with like, Unreal 4s might be, you know, coming to Linux. CryEngine's like, you know what? Fuck you guys. We already got our engine, like, put it in the supported systems. You know, the actual, that's going to be awesome. But, I'm happy about that. Do you think you want to pull some Phronix and just say that confirms that we're getting all the Battlefields and all that?
That's not Crysis.
Whatever
that's
it
not
is.
CryEngine. You're thinking Far Cry and Crysis.
Far Cry, whatever. Far Cry.
Yeah. But, I really want to play Blood Dragon on Linux. That'd be awesome. Come on, guys. Do it. Do it.
Blood Dragon looks very... Even Far Cry 3, it looks pretty good. Yeah.
But you know what? Because people are putting on the Linux support, some other people are taking off the Linux support.
Apparently.
Yeah, so... prompted by our lovely public service announcement last week, the fine guys at CD Projekt Red have removed The Witcher 2 Assassin of Kings from
what do you mean? PSA, I've never heard about it. What did we say?
Oh, we told them that if you're going to have 0-byte downloads, you should die in a fire.
Well, they did the second best thing. Now supported systems are 4 squares and an apple, which are the wrong supported systems, but... they'll do it for
once they get that up and running, it'll be good.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that because that was a enormous cock tease for me for reasons that I can't go into.
That came out like completely out of nowhere. It's like, oh,
yeah,
all right.
So
it was a nice way for them to gauge interest and see how many Linux players actually bought the game right then and there just because it showed up.
And a lot of them did.
Yeah, so it wasn't a cheap one either. So I was like,
no, it's full price for a AAA game.
Which, you know, as long as they don't go, maybe that's a good sales strategy. Just activate that icon. Take it away. We never said anything about supporting
hopefully it comes back. That'd be nice to have
Yeah.
The Witcher on the Linuxes.
At least by the end of the year, it should be back. That's when CD Projekt or GOG, if you want, they said they were going to support Linux by the end of the year, so it may be back by then.
That's
By
pretty
then,
decent.
but
Things that
times
are
get a little
working.
wasted, Pedro.
Yeah.
Just a bit wasted, but this is Wasteland 2, and you may remember back in the 90s, Brian Fargo made a game called Wasteland, which then spawned the Fallout series, which I am a very big fan of. And this is its spiritual successor of sorts. And Brian says, "Howdy, Rangers." Or Chris, in this case, it's Chris Avalone. Give you a snapshot in our current process. First off, the next beta update is being wrapped up. This beta update will include the first release of the Linux build, new merchant UI elements, the missile silo map, the Darwin village map, and updated leadership skill. As always, they will put their notes in their Tumblr page, because someone still uses Tumblr.
Well, the good thing
And they're not a teenage girl?
I'm thinking about
Nope.
this is we know for a fact it's in development. They were even like, how many months ago did they send us keys, P-Man?
About 2 months ago, yeah.
Right. And they're like, it's coming, So,
Just hold on.
No word on when it will coming. Back in the day, they said no word on when it's coming, but it will be coming. And it is a Unity game. I was kind of pissed that it wasn't available for Linux at the same time as it was available for
speaking
Windows.
of things that are coming, this kind of squirted all over our face organs out of nowhere. It was like,
all over my back.
Sanctum 2.
oh, what is it? I've never heard of it.
Sporting.
This is a first-person tower defense game. And to be perfectly honest, this isn't early access, at least not for Windows, but it is very much a beta for Linux.
And we mean real beta, not Google beta.
Yeah, really, really beta. We're talking control issues, crashing, and all the good stuff. So it is 90% off right now if you're watching this live. If you're just, watching after the fact, you may not be able to get the 90% off deal.
It's got
You
a
can
pretty
get the
good
whole-
score on Metacritic, 77.
Yeah.
All-
So
all they
that's a
need to do
pretty
is actually
average
fix it
score
under Linux.
for what is looking to be a very average FPS tower defense hybrid type game.
I started it up, played around with it for a bit, and, it does... one thing Pedro put here in the notes, and I immediately knew what was going on because you started, then he was like, "You spin me right round." And I was like, reach over, yoink out the controller, and it was like, no, there we go. Because Unity, I know these things.
Unity!
Even though this is the Unreal Engine. Herky jerks are just like random. It kind of looks like ass, even at 1080, because I think a lot of the shaders and stuff haven't been worked in. It's kind of like a Murgle mess. You can tell that it would look very nice when everything's working correctly. Then it has like these random freezes. Then things get going and the business starts over, and that's on a 770 octa-core box. But for less than £2, I'm just going to say pick it up just in case you might like it, right?
Yeah.
90% off,
Or
even if
you could
you're
spend
in
the money
Europe.
on a Coca-Cola.
It's like the
Get
game
diabetes.
and all the DLC for €2.30.
Flash?
Oh no, this is fucking running the game. This is TEC 3001 test. I don't know, but what this is in Tech 3001 Tesla Energy Collector. You are guiding a cutting-edge technology robot to collect virtual space energy leftovers for humanity, because that makes a fuck ton of sense.
You're a robot
But-
collecting batteries. Good time.
Yeah, good times.
One level.
So you run and you run and you run and you run, and I have sweats just looking at the trailer now.
That makes
Because
your
I'm
heart hurt.
horribly out of shape.
Uh,
But
Yeah,
yeah, it's for $3.99. It looks kind of boring, to be perfectly honest. It does have multiplayer though.
I was
so
watching
that's-
this and I was like, I kind of think this is been done before.
Photonica.
Right, because I remember
Photonica.
years ago, these guys sent me. This is like when the Unity engine first came out. Looks a little familiar.
Yeah,
Just
I
not
could
really
definitely see that.
shaded. But and they still haven't been greenlit yet. So
Oh, They
Even
may
though
not ever be greenlit.
their game probably predates this one by about 2 years. Let's just hope nobody's lawyers finds other people's lawyers, because that could get nasty with quickness. So now
But
that
you know what? We've dried the horse's tears, and we've sent it off on its way to its depot.
Yep.
So
I think it's about time we
kick
got
on over
into
to the
some
news.
blues.
No news, Pedro.
No news.
Oh,
No news
right.
is good news.
News.
Hell Hydra.
Hey guys, welcome back. You know what I got? Cashews. You know why? Because it rhymes with news. Well,
That's awful. You
Not
should
really.
die horribly from cancer.
AIDS.
well, then go fuck yourself, Jordan. So, first bit of news: PC Gamer Penny Arcade Expo East 2014 panel, the incredible parentheses future of PC gaming.
I would love to,
Future.
but it requires a lot of work.
Let's see what they have to say right quick.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
rough. However, I think that you can see more PC gaming on Linux just because there's more independent games getting made right now. I don't know if there'll be a big shift over to AAA games going to Linux anytime soon, to be honest.
Well, you're an idiot.
Wrong!
We need Kevin's face.
Okay, P-Man, tell him why he's so wrong. And you're going to say disparaging remarks about his mother's mother.
Portuguese rage.
Yeah. So here's the thing. What the PlanetSide 2 spokesperson was saying there is the Linux market is so small, it's not worth the investment. Now let's do some actual math. Last time
I was promised no
looked,
maths.
Okay, very light maths, please. So last time I checked, Steam had around 80 million active accounts, and Linux users accounted for 1.5% of those accounts. By not porting your game to Linux, you're effectively cutting yourself out of around 1 million sales right off the bat. That's 1 million sales you're not going to get because you're excluding a platform.
Oh, he's just pulling up the
Good
calculator.
job.
Shit just got real. This is for our audio listeners at home who can't see this.
I spelled
Oh,
boob.
he just spelled boobs. Awesome.
So there's also the fact that the Linux market.
7734.
Yeah.
Boobless LL, right, 77.
The argument
yeah.
may be that, okay, maybe not every one of those 1 million Linux users will buy the game. You're wrong, because the Linux market has been so starved for games for the past 20 years that most people will just impulse buy each and every new game that comes out.
Now,
Unless
this is where I'm going to throw a wrench in your equation, B-Man.
Okay.
The whole... This is like the bizarro opposite world. New Linux users might actually be tempted to do that, but old Linux users, when Steam first rolled out on Linux, we were just throwing money. Then the shit train of shit games from Shitsville showed up. Then we went, no, we're not supporting that. While we still have people that say, I got Linux installed, and I'm going to buy these 3 Linux titles to show I'm a real Linux game, and they're bullshit sales. While, there's a vast majority of us like, we don't pull the trigger until A, we know there's Linux support, and B, there's probably a little bit of pornography in the game. Go ahead.
Yes, there's also the fact that if your game is renowned throughout the world to be infamously terrible in every possible way, then yeah, probably people will not buy it because, hey, we're Linux users. We're kind of savvy when it comes to our electronic products, just saying. But especially for PlanetSide 2, I haven't heard anything but good things about that particular game, so why the hell are you being so,
Well,
Why
we've said
such
our piece, but I know
animosity?
this man right here is now waiting for the Origin Linux port. So,
Oh, absolutely. But the one other thing that got mentioned in that little blurb, and you can check that out in our show notes under this video on our website, is that a lot of them are like, oh, well, we don't want to switch over from our DirectX code base. Well, there's your fucking problem. If you keep on sucking DirectX dick, you basically lose your ability to be cross-platform. However, if
that's
you
definitely
write your
something to
code
think about.
with
I mean,
OpenGL, which has been empirically proved to be faster than DirectX,
and more
it'll work
accurate. And Microsoft
anything.
is quickly shifting into a services product. I mean, not
yeah.
an operating system. They want to be every cloud this, cloud that. Don't really caring what you're running on the hardwares. So,
But Ven, I hear you had some overclocking stories you want to share with us.
clocking. Nvidia
Clock it all.
makes with a new beta driver, 337.12. There's a bunch of little bugs. This is a beta driver. The biggest thing, the only thing really that you're going to care about is we can now make with the overclocking.
YOLO
And-
swag.
YOLO, bro. You remember you chitlins might, but we used to have this application for early NV cards called NV Clock that worked. I mean, they would work with anything before like the 9000 series. But now I built this, got the beta driver, installed it on the render box, bumped it up like 10% at the time, core clock, and I had twin frozers, so they stayed naturally cool. And this also comes with fan control, which is neat because I was like, oh, make noise! Quit making noise. Make noise! Quit making noise. And I'm not a clever man. I got 5 minutes entertainment out of that. But to the clock, I bumped it up, very minimal because I didn't want to bork anything. I think I ended up like boosting it like 30%, I was like, all right, stable, ran on engine, and it ran. Then I was like, brilliant. Let's fuck with memory speed. And I was like, mild, always got to be a little sensitive with memory, so let's start with something. Let's say, let's just increase it 15 megahertz. Hit 15, hit enter, froze.
Nice.
And I was like, all right, got up, skipped into the kitchen, grabbed the Nexus 10, fired up SSH, and I was like, all right, let's go ahead and kill X from here. And I was like, can't connect. And I was like, wow, haven't been hard locked in a while.
Motherfucker.
And that's a bit terrifying for an old man like me because I remember the days before journaled file systems. And a hard lock meant that you're either completely balked or you got extremely lucky and FS Truck somehow managed to pull the file system out of its ass and you managed something you could boot. Rebooted. It was like, all right, 15 megahertz. Maybe it was a bit much. Let's try 5. Locked. I was like, all right, let's prance back in here. And it's like, yep, it's genuinely hard locked. Restarted. Pretty much left it alone. And I was like, maybe I'm going to, just not mess with the memory and raise, just the clock a bit more. And I was like, maybe a hard lock. And I was like, what the fuck? And it was like, you were thinking about it again, weren't you? And I was like, no, why did you do that? It really didn't do that last bit. But yeah, pretty much. It was kind of like the spray bottle to the cat. It was like, no, bad Vin. You don't even mess with that setting. You do have
kitty,
to
it's a bad kitty.
use this thing called Xorg config that you'll have to add a special line to get the clocking thing. If you're an Arch user, send me an email. I'll explain how to use these things called text editors, Nano and stuff like that. It's not too difficult. So, any thoughts, J-Man? Do you plan on making with the clocking?
Not really, no. I mean, I have 0 performance issues with this card, so.
And to be honest, I mean, that was kind of my thought. I was like, the fuck do I really need to overclock these things for?
Yeah.
P-Man?
Funny.
So, coming up next, Alpha 26.
Yeah, Unvanquished.
Unvanquished, Alpha 26, batteries not included. So they've been actually actively trying to release a proper game based on the Quake 3 engine, because that's something we really need in Linux, is another FPS based on the Quake 3 engine. But okay.
I didn't know Jamie Lannister played.
Yeah. So they made some gameplay changes. Now you can actually use the jetpack when you're falling. You don't have to be on the ground to enable the jetpack and all that. They changed the HUD, made so that kill assists were a bit more obvious. They also fixed the rendering graphics for the Dredge, the Trapper, and the Exit Tube, and they even cooked up a new model for the drill. So the game is starting to look like it's not based on the Quake 3 engine, so that's good. Looks pretty good.
You got any thoughts? Did you give this one a go? I didn't really bother with it.
Not really. After I was actually able to play Unvanquished, I'm like, okay, this is a thing. Next.
Yeah, Alpha 25.
But you know, this has been in development for a good while. So
26. I mean, this is definitely one of the larger, FPS, which is the sea of games that we used to have only on Linux. But yeah, definitely screaming these guys' directions. Check out the notes if that's your dice. Good on that lot. But J-Man, I've always had a fondness for Zeppelins.
Oh, Zeppelins? So riddle me this, Ven. Have you ever played Liero?
9.
Pedro?
That was a long time ago.
Long time ago. Doesn't this look a wee bit familiar?
Exactly like it, actually.
Yeah, so this is Airships. This is apparently a real-time strategy game involving taking your little steampunky airships and having them blow the crap out of each other. And they have a little trailer there up in the corner.
Well, I mean, at least it's fully fleshed out, high-textured, 3D rendered graphics.
Oh, absolutely. This is totally not Atari graphics. This is like my DOS computer from 1990 is just quivering in fear at the sight of these graphics. But
why? What are they doing? This is mean.
Yeah, it's $5. So if this type of game is your thing, you should check this out. Kind of reminds me of like a Steampunk Liero FTL RPG thing.
It's
imagine
what's that game? Gens of Icarus mixed in with Terraria.
Yeah, kind of.
It's even slightly worse than Terraria.
Yeah,
that's what.
So again, it's $5. If this thing kind of tickles your pickle, pick it up. Otherwise, don't bother. They also have a $25 fuck their sister type thing, but you can find out about that on your own. But speaking of FTL, I have to go play some now. But before I do, Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. If you like NetHack, basically this is NetHack. This is fancy NetHack. And you can build it from source. I did. If you do, though, you better use that JFlag because compile takes an long time.
Something like this would probably only take maybe an hour on Pentium 75.
Absolutely. But no, it's
a bit white supremacist.
It plays
right
exactly like NetHack. So if that's your dice, check it out. Otherwise,
if you don't want the ASCII art, you can actually have proper.
Yeah, I built it with tiles.
Yeah,
you can have custom tile sets and whatnot. So if you want to make this game look a little better, you can go.
So this is really Z14. Highlights, characters, places, monsters, gods, spells, and items. For a list of other major changes, there will be a changelog link in our link update. They have some OS X binaries because no one cares that you're a hipster that owns a Mac. But, we're bringing this train wreck to you on Twitch TV, right?
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
For the time being, anyway.
For the time being, absolutely 300% correct. But Michael from our Gaming on Linux user group on the G+, has a bit of a script, and what this does is Twitch stream. And it allows for desktop and mic streaming as well as logo overlays.
Which is really hard to do if you know FFmpeg. Just saying.
But at least he does have, use Pavu control, which is always a good start. All this. It doesn't matter whose script, because, be honest with you, there's a billion of these things out right now. And they all suck in their own little special way. But
it's good to bring this to your attention.
Here's the thing. If you're going to be streaming, the biggest question we get is like, how do you do the sound audio from the game plus your audio? And I buy an external mixer. But I can, with this and Pulse audio, and if I do this and move it, and I was like, spend $60 and buy a mixer and shut up and leave me alone. I mean, we're not telling you to buy a new car. It's like, 40 to 60 quid, 2-channel USB mixer, clunk, that's your installation right there. Bob's your uncle. Then just do that as opposed to all this other crap because you're doing it wrong and you're making Linux gaming look bad. So,
let's hit Pedro.
Hitler.
Yeah, apparently someone's gonna hit me after this because this is the hit. And what it looks like to you is probably what it looked like to me, which was we wanted to remake GTA, but we're kind of on a budget.
I don't know. I mean, I like these graphics. They look retro in their own way.
They remind me of my Nintendo 64. Look at that. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So
But
according to their website, it's thehitgame.co.uk. The link will be in the notes, just like everything else. And they say, an endless city, a vast open city, which loops around in every direction, so you'll never reach the end. Okay, so you've learned how to do loops in your game. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. The concept seems a bit interesting.
These guys have more donate buttons on their site than we do.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's...
We must correct
well,
that
wow,
immediately.
that's pay to win, all right.
Put more donate buttons.
Oh man. Oh man.
But yeah, they
man.
will support eventually. They will also support Oculus Rift, which ever since they got bought by Facebook, I don't really give a shit.
You can add a like button. Do you like this? Now donate with PayPal. I mean, Facebook dollars or Facebucks.
Facebooks. I like that
Facebook
one.
coins. I think they call them Facebook coins.
They'll call them Starbucks.
They should really call them Facebooks. But anyways, I think that wraps up our news section. Coming up next, we have to deal with Ven's rampaging absinthe problem.
Well, it's not really raging when I just quit.
I guess that's the case. Find out more next. Back, and we're throwing chairs at Wastelands 2, otherwise known as Spate. So you can check that out at spategame.com. It's developed by Eric Proven, or his alter ego corporation. He calls Ayo Games. It's developed in Unity. You couldn't tell that already. And you can pick it up for $9.99 via regional equivalent money. And was it fueled by absinthe hallucinations and haunting memories? Spate delivers deliciously eerie adventure as the main character deals with the tragic loss and grim reality of the death of his daughter. Yeah, that sounds really exciting. Cue chair explanation. We review everything on our wacky 4-chair metric. So one chair means that it's complete crap. 2 chairs means that it's meh. 3 chairs means that it's pretty good, and 4 chairs means that it's fucking awesome. And Pedro's chair will open his mouth and just scream about how awesome it is. Isn't that right, Pedro's chair?
Yes, my chair will grow arms and open my mouth.
And of course, we have the categories of Doom mixed with the working, shiny and sounds, controls, and fun. If you don't know what those are, you have problems. So then, this is basically Functional Alcoholic, the game, and you being our resident functional alcoholic, how did it make with the working?
First of all, I take an insult to that. I'm a high-level functioning alcoholic.
High-functioning alcoholic.
Woohoo!
Sorry.
All right. Does this make with working? Now, working is a bit subjective as I was thinking about this. Well, I was writing out a little review bits, and I was like, normally I would say, all right, if it runs, it makes with the working. And I was like, all right, we have to grade this a bit more granularly, because this game feels sluggish as balls. I mean, if we have the moon option screen, which is our Unity, which is like fastest to beautiful. Fuck all what that means. And I don't like that with Metro Last Light. It's like over yar or over yar. Those are your options. What do they do? Double complete rainbow. But what really irked me was, I'm getting the forums on the Steams, and everyone's like, why is this game so fuck-mothering sluggish? And the developer was like, oh, well, that's a simple fix. Lower the resolution. And I was like, that is not a fix. Because we're running this on our minimum system requirement 1204 dual 770 quad 9 octo-core box of the business. And
I like how you call that our minimum system requirements, and it has dual 770s.
It is. It's the least I could run it on. And it makes the 770s run completely balls out. I mean, bzz, Vibratotron where you can fill it in the desk, not attached to the computer.
Even with the overclock?
No overclock, nothing.
No.
Just
overclock.
running it regular, vanilla. So I'm going to say, with all that sluggishness and running, Metro Last Light doesn't even do that to the 770s. So I'm going to say it does run out of the box. It just runs like balls. And those two things are going to ding at 2 chairs. There you get 2 chairs for Makes with a Working, J-Man.
Yeah, no, I ran into that choppy ass bug. I tried firing this up on the APU powered Steambox A10 5800K, and yeah, it was really, really choppy. So I'm like, all right, lower the quality, lowest fucking setting. I can't play this game. So I hop on over to this machine here, my 670 superclock powered Fedora 20 nonsense box down here, and it runs pretty well. No real issues with everything cranked up to 11. So I'll give that 3 chairs.
Yeah,
And,
for my
yeah.
experience, FGLRX and Unity don't play very well together. On my end, I was using the open source drivers on the ATI AMD 5650 HD, and the game actually runs surprisingly well. I mean, I could get 25 frames per second on Fantastic, which is the highest.
Fantastic.
I suppose,
Cool.
the highest definition settings on the Unity launcher, but it was getting 75, 80 frames per second on fastest. So I really can't complain. 4 chairs for me.
All right, so if we tally all that nonsense up, it's 3 chairs for Makes with the Working. Shiny and sounds. Then I heard instead of a little acid rain, it was a little blood rain in this game.
Well, it sure didn't make me want to dance, I'll tell you that. It looks like your standard Unity lot. Nothing fancy, no lackady hairdo, sparkly cowboy boots, none of that business. You look at it and you're like, that's a Unity game even before you start playing it. A lot of detail in it. Slow detail, though.
An optimization, Unity.
Even with everything on Fantastic, it was like anti-aliasing, motherfucker. Do you speak it? Apparently it doesn't. And when we get to the sounds, all right, let me just read this verbatim from my notes here. This Christopher Walken on a budget wannabe narrator can die in a fire. I mean, seriously, I want to do, I didn't look the guy up because, I got free time on my hands and a plane ticket's not that expensive. Might have to hunt him down out of principle.
How many people want to kick some ass?
That's right. So as is tradition, I muted it, put some Slayer on, and I was done with it. So shiny and sounds, they're there. Like I said, it's a bit sluggish. Standard Unity lot. It's not going to blow your brain pussy apart. Again, gonna have to go with the double deuce.
Double deuce. Well, at first I was like, holy shit, voice acting, awesome. And then I listened to this guy for about 30 seconds, and I thought, yeah, I kind of want to shoot this guy in the face and then have sex with the hole afterwards, but that's beside the point. That's for next week. But yeah, the atmosphere leaves a lot to be desired just because it's really, really weird. I get they were trying to do it all hallucinating, but I just personally found it very, very lacking. And with the soundtrack being annoying as balls, I ended up listening to Rosenrot's the entire album as opposed to listening to the actual music from the game. So visually kind of interesting. I can see what they were trying to do. Doesn't really work all that well. 2 chairs for me.
Yeah. The background music was about as generic for a 2.5D platformer. It's about as generic as you can get. And on my end, I did have one teeny tiny issue with the graphics, is that the game has no idea what VSync is. It has no idea what frame limiting is. And as a result of that, if you happen to be running something that's not a proprietary driver that does not handle that at a driver level, instead of letting the software handle it, it causes flickering and texture distortion everywhere. It's what's it called?
Liberace Gate.
No.
Fabulous.
Epileptic Seizure Simulator 2014.
So all of a sudden, then score becomes 4 chairs.
Yeah, 2 chairs, but when you take a shot of absinthe to trigger the hallucinations, the flickering stops. And that right there says it's a VSync issue.
That's just a cock
You gotta
tease.
fix that. Yeah.
Just a cock tease. So that's 2 chairs for shiny and sounds. Now, the control section. Then, did you feel like you were in control during this absinthe-fueled rampage?
Controls are muddy. Controls are glitchy. I just really looking at the jump button, which I believe is the A button or X button. I forget which one on the X-Clone controller. And you would think, if one of the primary mechanics of your game is jumping, that's the word we're looking for, you might want to, I don't know, spend a bit of development time. That's the secret word for today. Ah! Everyone scream. It might deserve a bit more of focus and development, because that is a suggestion button, and it's glitchy as balls, and that's all I can say about that. And I'm saying that not just from my own experience. Immediately, I jumped in the forums, and I was like, this thing's a MFA, man. And everyone's like, yes, we're experiencing issues with the jump button and all that, because you get like the, extra fart power when you jump to get that extra boost, and that it can be just miserably unpredictable. Outside of that, the movement, slow as it is, works. So now I'll give it 2 chairs, but I really want to give it 1. Don't want to be mean about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this guy's deserving of 1 chair, because the controls actually do work in a loose sense of the word. But one thing, I'm not sure if you brought this up during your segment, but yeah, this game really needs to be able to use the D-pad as opposed to the analog sticks, especially on my nice new Xbox controller that has these nice arcade tournament quality precision sticks and buttons. It would be nice to actually be able to use them.
Extender 3000.
Hey man, this was only $30. It's a pretty decent controller. But anyways, I like the absinthe drinking mechanic. I think that it's a bit wasted on this game, though, because the puzzles are just... and I'll get to this in the fun section, but, I mean, the puzzles are not very challenging. This game... The mechanic is good, but it deserves a better game. Also, one thing I noticed is while you're jumping, you actually have a max fall height. They do not indicate this at any point prior to. So, there's that. So, combined with the sluggish controls, it really just deserves the 2 chairs.
Yeah, besides what you guys already mentioned, this game was very much intended for an Xbox controller. And if you happen to have a DualShock, be it a PS2, PS3, even the PS4 ones, the A button on the Xbox controller sends out the same signal to Linux as the triangle button does on the DualShock.
So which one's the Particle Man button?
So, yeah, let's say you jump with the A button. You would expect that you would jump with the X button on the DualShock controller. You do not. You jump with the triangle. And that's absolutely fucking retarded. So, here's the thing. Even after reassigning the controls to something a bit more palatable, it refused to use anything but the defaults, and you can reassign controls in 2 places: the Unity launcher and the in-game options menu. Neither one of them produced any sort of difference. Now, I can't give it 1 chair, even though it's what it deserves, because 1 chair means it doesn't fucking work. And it's stupid as fucking balls, but it does work, so 2 chairs.
All right, so we tally that up, and that's 2 whole chairs for controls. And finally, then, did you have fun playing Low Functional Alcoholic Simulator 2014?
Woo! Bro, YOLO. You remember how I was talking about earlier, as Christopher Walken, Bad Actor Simulator 2014 just pissed me off to the point where I just disabled that. That was kind of the death nail for this one right here. Once you do that, this turns into Lord of the Rings Walking Simulator 2014. I mean, I just took screenshot after screenshot on Steam where I was like 3 minutes nothing happening. I'm sure there was some long, drawn-out, poorly voice-acted narration for those 3 minutes, but I was just walking across a ginormous fuck-mothering bridge. And where's my achievements, brah? Not that I really care about that. I was like, brah? Come on. Brah. I get one for, like, jumping on a chain and swinging, or how many shots of, the booze I can hold down. And it'd be great if you kill yourself with alcohol poisoning.
Oh, yeah, blood poisoning achievement unlocked.
Right.
Kidney failure.
Surprise ER visit. Take that shot. But at the end of the day, speaking of taking shots, this just kind of fell apart for me. It's a platformer. It feels sluggish for a platformer. It's not challenging. It doesn't present anything new in the mechanics. And once you cut the narration off, it is the most generic of generic platforming existence simulators in existence-ville. I'm going to have to give that one chair.
Yeah, this game I find lacks focus because it's trying to have multiple platforming elephants and story elephants, and it just doesn't really know what it's trying to do. Like I said, the absinthe mechanic is interesting, but there's really, aside from a couple early puzzles, there's not really much in the way of stuff you can do with it. In addition, really, it's not very challenging either. It's just annoying because, like, Pedro's going to talk about the Flappy Bird segment, but you can't control, like, basically anything there. So unless your timing is 100% right from the beginning, you're screwed. This game is very, very dull. It's not enjoyable. I would not recommend this. I will give this one chair.
Yeah, you guys already touched on most of what I was going to say, but yeah,
you have a child murder joke.
It's like Limbo, only the child is already dead by the time you start the game, and let's be honest, where's the fun in that? So yeah, 30 minutes in,
Dead
Flappy Bird
don't
segment.
fall downstairs.
30 minutes in, you get the first Flappy Bird segment. 40 minutes in, or 50 minutes in if you actually stop to listen to what Frank Underwood wannabe is trying to say, you get more Flappy Bird. And I think there's at least 2 more Flappy Bird segments, because this is what looks to be a very long game. And there aren't a lot of games that make an hour of gameplay feel like 2. This is one of them, and not in a good way. It's boring. So very boring. One chair.
Yeah. You think about it, a good game should be like, oh, I played 5 minutes of it. Oh, it's 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This is not it. That's one chair for fun. So if we tally up all our crap, we have 2 chairs for the final score. Once again, Ben is flashing all of the chair explanations and whatnot. 2 chairs, but it's 2 chairs with an asteroid. Don't buy this game. This is boring as shit.
Yeah, I guess on final thoughts, it's definitely with the asteroid, asterisk, astro, whatever her name is this week. We'd give it 1 chair, but, if you're a sadist and you're, like, extremely sluggish, ill laid out, plot lacking,
poorly thought out,
with Flappy Bird simulation, shit narration, completely GPU hungry for no fuck all reason. If that's
it's complex shaders, man.
If that's your bag, this is your game. So we'll say, try it if that's your lot. J-Man, final thoughts of
Don't bother with this game. It's not worth your time. This game wasted like 80 minutes of my life. I want it back.
So here's the thing. I was looking at the Steam forums for this game, and I saw a couple of people with Nvidia GTX 650s and 660s and 770s and 750s complaining that a Unity game, which, by the way, looks like ass, was driving their cards into, overheating. They were making their card. Yeah, really. all the way into the danger zone.
Well, maybe this thing mines bitcoins on the side.
Apparently, yeah, because why?
This thing would have to pay me in bitcoins to make me continue playing it.
The shaders in the game look like ass. You don't need that much horsepower to power that particular piece of shit up. What the hell are you doing?
This is what we like to call click export equals Linux port.
Shit unoptimized. Stay the fuck away from this game.
All right, that wraps that up. We spit on Spate, and we're done with it. Coming up next, hate mail. Woo.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for some? Nope.
Yes, I'm ready for some.
Hate mail it is.
You never go bass to mouth.
Just a quick
You
reminder.
do go
If
after
you'd
Trump.
like to get in touch with us, go on over to LinuxGameCast.com, push that contact button in the nav bar there, fill out your name, fill out your email, give us a subject, give us your message, prove you're smarter than a bot, and away we go. But if you do have some Kickstarter, Indiegogo, any sort of crowdfunding campaign, just make sure to include a playable Linux prototype, demo, alpha, beta, call it whatever the hell you want. Just include a link so we can play it. Otherwise, we're not going to mention your shit, and we'll probably make fun of you. All right? Okay.
So then, I know you love Microsoft.
I do.
Yeah,
It's one of my favorite
apparently.
things. Coming from Alex G from the G Pluses, but he did kind of come around with this. He asked, what will you miss about gaming on Windows, especially with SteamOS? Then, if it hadn't been done already, it'd be interesting to see the subject brought up in a Linux GameCast episode. Wow.
Well, you see, serious answer to this question. The reason I ditched Windows entirely was because the only reason I was using it was to play games. And then there were games on Linux. So I decided,
Yep.
screw that. I despise using Windows. It makes me... I have to fight the computer in order to accomplish something. So I don't think I would miss anything about Windows, period.
Well, I was in another G Plus conversation on our user group, and one of the things somebody said, about that, and I said, well, I wouldn't miss anything about that because I don't think I've ever really used Windows for gaming. I used DOS to play some Quake back in the day, and somebody wrote back, it's like, it must be difficult on that high horse view, and I was like, no, fuck you, this horse is awesome, and you look like an ant. Then somebody else, no, it was the same guy chimed back in, and he was like, I also started using Linux 15 years ago, and I was like, fucker, I didn't say start using Linux 15 years ago. That's when I went Linux full time. And I'll tell you what I missed. There was like one site, Launch, that had some music videos and stuff, and that was like my big thing, because we had a couple of games. I wasn't a huge gamer, I was kind of a retro guy back then, still played with the Neo Geo and the Sega CD. I didn't buy any of the new systems, and we had, happypenguin.org and linuxgames.com to futz around with, and then Loki came out, and I was like, Year of Linux Gaming has arrived, 2001, bullshit, fuck you, Vin, cruel joke. I bought every Loki game, and they went the fuck out of business, and I've patiently sat in stasis for a decade.
I think Pedro might have been an employee of theirs back then.
So, nothing for me. Didn't miss a bit. How about you, P-Man?
What I miss? What will you not miss about gaming on Windows?
Well, what can you do under Windows that you can't do under Linux, except for the occasional game that doesn't work with one? Viruses. Viruses. You can get viruses.
Really?
Malware. There's malware.
The only thing I won't miss at all about Windows was dealing with AMD's proprietary bullshit drivers.
Instead, you have to deal with their proprietary
AMD.
bullshit Linux drivers.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't even use the proprietary drivers anymore. Why? Because the open source drivers works stupidly well, better than FGLRX ever did. Hell, I can install any Linux distro with Mesa 10 on this laptop, and it will run out of the box. I don't need proprietary drivers for any goddamn thing. So honestly, I miss nothing from Windows.
Nothing!
And nothing at all.
All right, and I
Bungaboo.
guess that wraps up that question. Terry Welsh, author of Retro Booster, nervously mails us in because I think the day that he'll finally cough up a coffee or 3 of Retro Booster and
He
give it to us for the
has.
chair. Yeah, I guess he has. Anyways, he says, "Why do you guys round your chair down and not round it to the nearest chair?" Well, Terry, the answer is very simple. Because fuck you. That's why.
Also, yes.
That and, there would be a lot of games that are not Secret of the Magic Crystals who would get 4 chairs undeservedly. Birdies, bitch!
The to make a short answer long, Terry. I guess what I have to say this at the end of the day, so we can take another shot before we wrap this up, is the second you start applying logic to a system that is lawn chairs for ratings. But then again, I had this argument because someone was, "You use lawn chairs," and I was like, yes, as opposed to the perfectly natural system of stars. Really? A lawn chair's that far out of the picture because you're using stars? Who the fuck came up with that? You want one on your head because you're a good boy, don't you? Yeah.
I want a gold star.
You are a gold star.
Whatever lets you sleep at night, Jordan. Whatever lets you sleep at night.
And
Hey,
speaking
man,
of things
actually, that's a really good burger joint near here, Golden Star. Anyways, continue.
that let you sleep at night, let's cue that music, because that's the end of our hate mail section and the end of this beautiful, beautiful train wreck. I'm Vin Stone. You can always find me on the Twitters at Vin Stone and on the G Pluses, cleverly disguised at Plus Vin Stone.
I am Jordan Spung. You can find me on Twitter at The Burning Fool or on Google Plus at Plus Jordan Spung. And finally, the Mexicant, the Giggling Death.
Yes.
Smoking some
quite.
pipe.
I
Smoking
do
some
believe that I am Pedro Mateos. You fuckers keep butchering my name, and I'm not very appreciative of that. You can find me on Twitter at unaccounted4 or plus Pedro Mateos on Google+.
So at
Good
the end
luck
of the
dying
day,
from
let's just remind Pedro that, you're Mexican, bro.
Oh, shit.
Why you Mexican, brah? Why you Mexican, brah? Stop Mexicaning yourself.
That's all I can do. Fuck.
At least you don't have AIDS.
At least,
Or Brazil.
I'm not Brazilian, so...
give it a week or two. We'll see what happens.